This is Rainbow Obsidian, and while it may look a bit dull and gray on the outside, there's some absolutely incredible colors and textures hidden within. This piece was donated to the channel by a wonderful supporter and has been waiting patiently in my collection for its opportunity to be cut. Today is finally that day. We're going to start off with some rough hand preforming just to get a portion of the stone into something that we can work with. While we do that, I have some incredible news to share. We just recently hit 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. This is such a huge milestone for a small channel like mine, and I honestly can't believe how supportive and amazing this community has become. Thank you all so much for being a part of this journey with me. To celebrate this milestone, I wanted to do something special. Since this stone was donated to the channel, it feels perfect to give back to the community that's given me so much, so I'll be giving this finished die away to one lucky follower. Make sure you stick around until the end of the video for details on how to enter for your chance to win. Now that we've got our rough preforming done, if I add a bit of isopropyl alcohol to the rough surface, we can catch a glimpse of the patterns below. Already we can start to see some beautiful iridescence. This section has some beautifully subtle blues and yellows to it, almost silver and gold. Now we're going to get this piece attached to a dop using our trusty Loctite 5-minute epoxy resin. While we get that set up, let's talk a little bit about what makes this rock so special. This particular piece was handpicked from Davis Creek, California, specifically from the Middle Fork of Davis Creek, which is famous for producing some of the most spectacular rainbow obsidian in the world. Obsidian is a volcanic glass that forms when felsic lava cools rapidly, but rainbow obsidian takes it one step further. The beautiful bands of color are created by microscopic inclusions of magnetite, hematite, and other minerals that are incorporated as the lava cools. The specific conditions during formation, like the rate of cooling, the mineral content, and even the flowing pattern of the lava, all contribute to the final banding pattern, making each piece incredibly unique. The rainbow effect, called iridescence, occurs when light hits these microscopic layers at just the right angle, splitting the light into its component colors much like a prism. The end result is absolutely beautiful. Now, working with obsidian presents some unique challenges. I've heard that obsidian can be incredibly difficult to polish well, which has been my main hesitation in working with this piece. After gaining some experience working with glass on a few previous projects, I feel like I'm finally ready to tackle this challenge. However, from my experience with those glass dice, I did encounter some chipping issues on the rougher grit, so I'm going to be much more conservative with my approach than I normally would be. We're going to start off with the preforming step at 90 degrees to cut past all the gaps and pits in the stone while forming it into a cylinder. This will establish the maximum usable width and height of the stone, which we can use to calculate the size of the final die and understand our stopping points. Okay, so we've got our preforming into the cylinder done, and there are a few spots that are a little bit concerning. There's this spot here that's a bit lower than the rest, as you can see by this line, as well as a pit here up in the top left. I can't quite tell exactly how deep that one is, so I'm hoping that we can cut past it. There's also a small pit here on the opposite side, but it's fairly shallow. With the angle that this face is at, we'll have a flat edge here, meaning we'll be cutting directly on the pit, so hopefully we'll just blow right past it. If we add a bit of isopropyl alcohol to the stone, we can see some of the banding really starting to show through. This is a lot closer to what the final pattern of the die will look like. So from here, we'll cut in the first 10 faces still on the 120 grit, then we'll move to the 240 grit to cut past the damage caused by the 120, and then onto a 600 where we'll bring our faces into the final location. From there, we'll do a pre-polish on 3000 and then polish on our cerium oxide lightning lab. Okay, so we just finished our 120 and that low spot is still visible. You can see here I'm just outlining it with a pencil right now. In addition to that, those pits are still visible as well. The one on the back side is still a bit visible, but you can see there's this white line that runs through it. It's not a crack, it's just white. It must just be some other mineral inclusion. Luckily, the pit near the low point is mostly gone as well. You can see that it's still a bit visible, but I'm hoping that there will be even less once we move through the 240 grit. Okay, so here's our 240 grit and we are looking pretty good. Before we move on to the next step, we're going to take a second to clean up our workstation. This is a great reminder of why respirators are so important. This is definitely way worse than what I normally run into, as we very quickly removed a lot of material working at a very high speed with a lot of water. Even still, a lot of this could have ended up in my lungs were it not for the respirator. It's important that we take the time to clean up our station after major steps like this. Not only does this protect our health by preventing dust from spreading throughout the workspace, but it also prevents contamination of our finer labs down the line. Even tiny specks of grit that get carried over to our pre-polishing and polishing labs can create some really nasty scratches that could set us back hours of work. I'm going to clean down the entire faceting machine, wipe down all the surfaces, and make sure there's no residual slurry or particles anywhere. With how much of a mess we made in the first labs, being extra thorough here is really going to pay off later. A few extra minutes of cleaning now could potentially save us from some major headaches down the line, especially when we get to that tricky polishing stage that Obsidian is known for. So we're partway through our 600 grit and I wanted to show you something. This is a 240 grit face and you can see that the reflection of my pencil is a bit blurry or foggy. Now if we compare that to a 600 grit face, you can see just how much clearer the reflection is. Typically we only get this nice of a reflection after pre-polishing on 3000 or higher, but I read that some people go from 600 straight to polish, so I wanted to check. We're looking really good, so I think we're going to give it a shot and jump straight to polish after this step. Here's our final 600 and I'm really happy with how this is looking. Now we're going to try something a bit different with this die. Normally we would cut in the stars at the 600 grit stage, but we're going to try and take a different approach. Instead, we're going to fully cut and polish the first side completely without the stars, then transfer and work on the second side. This allows us to line up the points much better because we're not having to cut into an imaginary point where the stars would be. We can actually see exactly where the points are and align everything perfectly. This means we'll have to do a second transfer later, which will definitely cost us some extra time, but I think will be a lot more accurate when it comes to cutting in the stars. So let's move on to polishing. Here's the first side fully polished, and I'm absolutely thrilled with how this is turning out. I'm really happy that we were able to get a few faces with that iridescence. It's just so stunning. The deep black background really makes those gray and white bands pop too. To me, the black and gray bands and subtle iridescence remind me of deep space, like distant stars, galaxies, and nebula. Now, we're going to transfer the daub to the other side using our transfer jig and some more epoxy resin, then get started on the second half. If you're enjoying watching this die come to life, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons below. It only takes a second and it really does help me out. Your support helps me to continue making more dice and videos like this. If you're looking for more ways to help support the channel, consider checking out my Patreon. You'll get exclusive early access to ad-free videos, see behind-the-scenes looks at what I'm currently working on, have a say in future video topics and stones, join in monthly Q&As, and even get your hands on exclusive monthly discounts and full ttrpg character supplements based on the stories and dice we create here. Your support there will make a huge difference to help me dedicate more time to creating dice and videos like this. Now, back to the video. For the second side, we're going to run through a very similar process. 120 grit to establish the faces, then 240 grit to refine them, followed by 600 grit to bring everything to the final location. This is where we'll cut in all the stars, and then straight to cerium oxide lab for the final polish. After polish, we'll transfer back to the first side to cut and polish the final stars. From there, we'll cut out some numbering masks on our CNC machine, sandblast the numbers in, paint them, and we'll be all finished up. When I look at this die, I imagine Svol, once a mind flayer of the thriving nautiloid colony, the Atris, their consciousness interwoven with the vast network of their elder brain. Now, only a profound silence answers their probing thoughts. They cling to the cold alien console of the obsidian vessel, the vibrant hum of their former home replaced by a crushing void. The Atris had detected an unknown object drifting in the void, unlike anything known to Illithid charts. Psionic probes met no resistance, energy simply absorbing into its surface. A collective ripple of curiosity spread through the Atris as the Elder Brain ordered investigation, and Svol, a skilled scout, was dispatched to the small, seamless black vessel. A subtle seam shimmered open, revealing a dark aperture. Svol stepped inside, their clawed feet meeting the cold, polished obsidian floor, a stark contrast to the nautiloid's living warmth. The featureless obsidian interior pulsed with a faint internal iridescence. Reaching out, Svol attempted to engage with what they perceived as controls, searching for a familiar psionic interface. In a flash, a large holographic sphere flared to life at the room's center, displaying their sector of the astral sea, and from a distant, previously unmapped point, a thin column of shimmering white blazed across the projection, a silent, impossibly swift arrow aimed directly at the Atris. Svol's eyes snapped to the viewport as the same column carved across the black void outside, a terrifyingly precise beam of blinding white static striking their home. The Elder Brain's final immense psychic scream tore through Svol's mind, a deafening, agonizing cacophony of annihilation. The Atris exploded inward, its organic hull collapsing into itself before internal detonations scatter the wreckage out into the void. Svol, inside the obsidian vessel, was spared. Now a solitary mind left adrift. The horrifying finality left them untethered, their identity cut from their former collective. Amidst the profound silence, a colder, more primal mind flare intellect asserted itself, grappling with the incomprehensible. This was no simple act of war, no clash of wills, but a terrifyingly precise nullification. Svol's purpose, though still raw with grief, began to shift from mere survival and vengeance to the desperate need to comprehend such an annihilating force. Svol's every waking moment became a struggle against profound isolation, their purpose forged not in vengeance, but in a desperate, obsessive need for understanding. The holographic map became their relentless guide. Desperate to master the alien vessel, they pressed their thoughts against its console, each attempt a jolt of disorienting pain. Psychic feedback arced into their mind, carrying raw flashes of incomprehensible events, alien sensations, and a fleeting glimpse of a vast, interconnected city. These were not random surges, Svol realized, but echoes, fragmented insights into the ship's origins and the nature of the power that destroyed the Atris. Through agonizing trial and error, interpreting each surge, Svol began to coax the vessel across the astral sea towards the origin of the white beam. They spent untold cycles consumed by the ship's alien logic, until at last they neared the coordinates. There, a desolate, seemingly inert mass of rock materialized within the void, hanging like a small, unremarkable moon. Then, with a slow, grinding groan, a vast iris slid open on its surface, revealing a deep city of black obsidian glass. From its chilling depths screamed a piercing psionic signal. 1,000 minds, ancient and profound, flooded Svol's senses, an overwhelming current of ancient power and wisdom that was undeniably the source of the Atris's destruction. In that moment, it became clear to Svol. This is not merely an enemy, but a truth of the cosmos, immense and complex, whose comprehension might just reshape their very understanding of existence. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. This Rainbow Obsidian D20 has been an absolute joy to create, and seeing how the community donated the original stone makes it even more special. Since we just hit 5,000 subscribers together, I can't think of a better way to celebrate than by giving this die back to the community that made it possible. If you want a chance to win this die, all you have to do is head over to my Instagram page, the link is in the video description below, follow me, like the giveaway post, and leave a comment. Please make sure to read the full post description for any additional details and rules. Next Saturday, July 26th, I'll draw a name from the comments and announce the winner there. And speaking of celebrating this milestone, I'm also running a huge 50% off sale on all of my available dice right now. I'm making room for some exciting new projects, so head on over to sageandnettle.com if you want to add some of these beautiful handcrafted pieces to your collection. Thank you all again for your incredible support. Hitting 5,000 subscribers is just the beginning, and I'm so excited to continue this journey with all of you. Your engagement, stories, and enthusiasm truly mean the world to me. Thank you all so much.